Humans have reached the moon, but they still don't know what's happening beneath their feet. When the ground was dug up, a hidden world appeared, a city where thousands of ants worked in silence, without a leader, without noise. In the heart of the colony sat a queen. She didn't shout, didn't move. But with just her chemical signals, the entire city stayed in motion. That's true leadership. It was a regular day. A researcher was conducting an ecological soil survey near Lahore. While examining a dry patch of land, he noticed straight, parallel lines under the surface. They didn't look natural. Something felt oddly structured. He pulled out his soft excavation tools and started digging carefully. Just 8 inches deep, he uncovered a web of interconnected tunnels. Each tunnel was round, narrow, and perfectly aligned. The symmetry was so precise, he first thought it might be man-made, but small ants were crawling through every path, actively working. This colony was functioning silently beneath the ground. That he was stunned. He had never seen insect behavior this complex. He began documenting every layer. The tunnels were multi-tiered. IT wasn't just survival, it was living architecture. The researcher marked the location and labeled the colony entrance. Now he realized how massive this accidental discovery truly was. That he started recording all observations for his data team. The ants kept working without hesitation, unaware of being observed. The entire system was self-sustained, like a natural machine. Who knew an entire world was hiding beneath our feet? The discovery was made by Dr. Iqbal Farid, an entomologist with over 18 years of experience. He wasn't out to find ants that day. He was collecting dry soil samples. But sometimes nature gives answers to questions you weren't asking the doctor. Farid noticed the strange soil lines and decided to investigate further. He had studied insects his whole life, but this felt different. There was a rhythm in the structure, like nature was speaking through design. That he called his assistant, Ariba, who arrived with a mobile lab kit. Together, they began documenting, photographing, and taking 3D scans. Every foot they uncovered revealed more of the hidden colony. They avoided damaging the structure. It was too perfectly built. Instead, they worked around it, preserving its natural form. What amazed them most was the scale and balance of the system. Dr. Farid had studied hundreds of ant systems before, but never this precise. This colony didn't just survive underground. It thrived like a secret civilization. His voice shook when he sent the first report to the Institute. Ariba named it 0 Point, where their biggest work had just begun. Neither of them knew how deep it really went. But one thing was clear: this wasn't an ordinary insect nest. Dr. Farid's scanner gave the first shocking data. The colony was 12 feet deep. The tunnels weren't random. They were layered like an underground skyscraper. Each level had a unique pattern, purpose, and inactivity. In total, there were 9 distinct layers discovered in the initial scan at T4 feet. They found chambers storing food bits, dry leaves, and dead insects at T7 feet. Tiny rooms were filled with eggs and larvae. Every chamber had guards, bigger ants, stronger jaws, watching silently. Dr. Farid called it the most advanced insect structure he'd ever seen. Even the air vents in the tunnels were placed with perfect precision. One chamber, central and untouched, was larger than the rest. Inside it was a single queen, resting, not moving, not working, but every tunnel outside responded to her invisible signals. Even fungus was growing on the walls. Not harmful, but part of the balance. Some ants were farming it, a behavior rarely seen in wild colonies. This wasn't just shelter, it was a living, breathing ecosystem. Dr. Farid's team marked each layer with care, not touching the core. This colony was ancient and possibly still expanding. No machine could have made this. Only instinct, patience, and time. She didn't move much, but everything moved because of her. The queen ant wasn't giving orders, she was releasing signals. Invisible pheromones guided the behavior of thousands without a word. She lived inside the deepest chamber, protected on all sides. Her presence was calming. Any disturbance outside quickly stabilized. Dr. Farid noted that her heart rate barely changed. She was the biological core of the entire system. That if she stopped producing scent, the colony would collapse in days. Yet she didn't force anything. Her control came through balance. Nurses cared for her constantly, feeding her, cleaning her. Ants rotated guard duty like soldiers, but no one ever disobeyed. There was no throne, no crown, just silent power. She didn't raise her voice, she didn't have one dot, but her chemicals set the rules, the rhythm, the urgency. To Dr. Fard compared her to a conductor with no baton. Even after hours, the team watched in awe. No chaos, no confusion. Point one queen. Thousands of workers, one system, no break. She was not just a leader, she was the colony's soul. Dr. Fard sat in silence, comparing what he saw underground to us. Humans argue over rules. Ants follow balance without debate that we need systems to survive. They become the system. Where we build walls, ants create paths. Where we demand control, ants distribute roles, and O1 gives orders. Yet no one is lost. Ants work without fame, without rewards, just function. Humans chase recognition, but often ignore contribution. And still, ants feed every member. No one starves. Even their dead are removed with care, buried properly, and O1 taught them. It's built into who they are. Humans need laws. Ants only need purpose. Scientists noted, ants live without noise, yet nothing stops moving. They don't waste. They don't destroy. They grow only what they need. Maybe that's why their world stays hidden. Too disciplined to notice. Dr. Fard published his final report. The colony isn't about insects. It's about order, silence, and survival. He closed his notebook. Case closed. But the lesson? Still open.